Good evening. Can I have a motion to go back into public session?
So moved.
It was perfect.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Good evening. Welcome to the Yorktown Central School District Board of Education meeting for May 13th, 2019. Can we please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence for our armed forces and those in our community who have lost loved ones, especially the grandparent of David Zeiler and the father-in-law of Artilda Marcolage.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being patient with us. We know we're a little bit late. Tonight, we're starting with tenure recognition, correct?
Yes, it's always such a wonderful night to celebrate tenure in the Yorktown Central School District. Thank you, so many of you, for coming out. I know the weather's not that nice out there, but I promise you, you're in for a great evening in here. As I transition over to the podium, I'm going to invite our wonderful Yorktown High School choir to center stage here on the right to my left, and I will ask that they perform just a couple songs for you, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy their singing just as much as I do.
When you
Thank you so much to Mrs. Stock and to our YHS chorus for performing here this evening. They're so talented, and I have the good fortune of passing by the room and just hearing the beautiful music that they sing each day. It's absolutely remarkable, absolutely remarkable. So we're so grateful to our students and Mrs. Stock for being here with us this evening. Good evening to members of our Board of Education, Mrs. Carbone, Mr. Magnani, Ms. Bose, Ms. Reynolds, Ms. Roll, Mr. Bisaccia, and Mr. D'Alessandro can't join us this evening, but they send their regards as well. Good evening to my colleagues, both from district office and from each of our schools. I would especially like to welcome our tenure candidates and their families and friends to our tenure celebration this evening. Tenure is derived from the Latin word tenere, which means to hold. This evening, you're holding on to something very important. You're holding on to something that cannot be seen and cannot be heard. However, it's the most valuable thing that I have to give you. By recommending you for tenure, I'm symbolically placing my trust within your hold. You're also holding all of the hope and promise of a bright future working in the Yorktown Central School District. It is my hope that you'll embrace the trust that I'm placing in you this evening and cultivate it further by continuing to fully invest yourself in the success of your students and the mission of our district. This evening, I confidently place my trust in you because you have demonstrated that you're highly capable of being the innovative and inspiring educators that our students deserve. I confidently place my trust in you because you have been extraordinarily successful in a very rigorous probationary period that included several formal observations by district and school administrators, informal observations of your work with students, and annual professional performance reviews. Tenure is the beginning of yet another chapter in your careers. You've become familiar with the expectations of the district, and the district has become familiar with your teaching and your character. I leave you with some very important themes to take away from this evening. And the first is that tenure is not a destination to be reached. Rather, it's a checkpoint to celebrate and then continue on in your journey. Now, as tenured members of our faculty, our expectations are set even higher, and I have full confidence you will meet them and serve as mentors for those who aspire to achieve tenure. I expect you to continue to put children first and to take strategic risks by incorporating new instructional practices that will better your students. I expect that you will find your voice as an upstander. I expect that you will continue to serve as a source of innovation and creativity for those around you. And I expect that people will be able to look to you as a moral compass. Second, you didn't get to this point alone. You're here mainly because of the person you are, but also because of the wonderful people in your lives. Some are sitting next to you, and others are not. The next leg of your journey will be successful only if you continue to rely on those around you. Collaboration is the number one skill that's repeatedly being cited as the most important in the 21st century. Continue to work collaboratively with those around you. And finally, always be grounded in what's best for children. When the best interests of children guide your decision-making, you can never make a bad choice or take a wrong turn. Our goal should be simple: to make a positive impact on every child with whom we come in contact. While this goal is more easily said than done, there are some small things we can do that will reap huge rewards. First, we can smile at a child as we pass them in the hallway. A smile, while seemingly minor, can transform the course of a child's day. Never underestimate the power of a smile. Also, your students should know how deeply you care for their well-being. When you're with your students, absolutely nothing should detract from your attention to them and your unwavering commitment to their success. They deserve your very best 10 days out of 10, and I have full confidence that you will always give our children your very best. At this point, I would like to ask our Board of Education trustees and my district office colleagues at the dais to make their way to the entrance doors so that we may congratulate our tenure candidates. I would also like to invite our district PTSA president, Mr. Fideli, who I understand is going to be accompanied by two very special helpers, Dominic and Vincenzo, to the front of the room as well. The district PTSA has generously provided us with flowers for the honorees this evening to make this evening just a bit more special. The first candidate to be recognized this evening, the first candidates to be recognized this evening are from Mohansic School, so I kindly ask Mrs. Susan Berry to join me, principal of Mohansic School, to join me at the podium. Thank you. I will first share my recommendation for Ms. Michelle Tropia. Ms. Tropia is a certified teaching assistant at Mohansick School. Ms. Tropia began her career in the Yorktown Central School District as a part-time teaching assistant, and she quickly excelled in this role. Soon thereafter, Ms. Tropia joined the district as a full-time CTA, and we are delighted to have her as part of our team. Mrs. Berry, the principal of Mohansick School, says of Mrs. Tropia, "There is an overall sense that Mrs. Tropia's approach to her daily responsibilities is done in an above and beyond way. Each day she demonstrates a genuine love for the students and for being part of their school experience. I believe that wonderful things are ahead for Ms. Tropia. I am pleased to introduce Ms. Michelle Tropia and recommend her for tenure as a certified teaching assistant in the Yorktown Central School District." The next candidate that I will recommend for tenure this evening is Ms. Emily Rattell. Ms. Rattell is currently a kindergarten teacher at Mohansick School. Ms. Rattell began her career in the Yorktown Central School District in September of 2015. Since this time, Ms. Rattell has demonstrated the qualities that we seek in every early childhood teacher while still demonstrating a high capacity for future growth. In observing Ms. Rattell, I particularly note her ability to connect with her students and the manner with which she perpetually challenges her students to meet high standards of academic excellence and social-emotional wellness. On one of my visitations, students were asked to design habitats for ladybugs in groups of 2 or 3. I don't know if you recall this lesson that I observed. It's part of our science instruction, and it's a part of our work in eSTEAM. However, this was not simply a project for students to demonstrate their creativity. Students were required to meet several criteria to create the habitat. And now, mind you, the students are 5 years old at this point. Do you have holes for the ladybugs to breathe? Are they big enough for the ladybugs to get air? Do you have enough food for the ladybugs? Is there a way for the ladybugs to get water? Are there safe places for the ladybugs to stay? When the ladybugs arrive, how will you get them into their habitat? And is there enough space for the ladybugs to observe them in their habitat? This lesson, and more importantly, the manner with which Ms. Rattell delivered the lesson, stayed with me. The children in the class, as I said, were 5 years old at the time, and academic vocabulary and instructional objectives stretched one's thinking and creativity to the greatest depths. I applaud Ms. Rattell's efforts, as these thinking demands are regularly evident in her class. For this reason, and innumerable additional reasons, I'm pleased to introduce Ms. Emily Rattell and recommend her for tenure this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Berry, for joining me at the podium. Just so you're aware, there's a book that I particularly love, and it's called What Great Teachers Do Differently. And the lessons are not exclusive to teachers. I find myself referring back to this book as a touchstone and just as a symbol of our appreciation and congratulations to each of the candidates. We are going to add that book to their professional libraries as well this evening. At this time, we will introduce the tenure candidates from Brookside School, and I would like to invite Mrs. Ammerling, Brookside School Principal, to join me at the podium. Our first tenure candidate from Brookside School is Ms. Lisa Fuller. Ms. Fuller is a certified teaching assistant at Brookside. She currently works in our 812 program and has been an asset to the classroom. During her time at Brookside, Ms. Fuller has demonstrated herself to be a flexible, reliable, and dependable professional who places the needs of her students at the front of her work. In the setting in which Ms. Fuller works, the education plans are inherently individualized. Ms. Fuller is keenly aware of the support required of each student, and she takes great pride in her work. It's my pleasure to recommend Ms. Lisa Fuller for tenure in the Yorktown Central School District. Our next tenure candidate from Brookside School is Ms. Margaret Dodona. Ms. Dodona is a third grade teacher at Brookside, and her teaching is amongst the best that I have seen in the classroom. I do not say those words lightly. Ms. Dodona's content area expertise is only matched by her love of children. She provides her students with high academic expectations and offers a vast pedagogical repertoire to ensure students meet her expectations, and that they do so while maintaining a joy for learning. Earlier this school year, Ms. Dodona welcomed her first child, Calvin, into the world, and on her first day back from her maternity leave, I visited Ms. Dodona to say hello and wish her well, and I think you recall my visit that day. When I first stepped foot in the classroom, I observed Ms. Dodona and her students fully immersed in an ELA lesson that made me wonder if, in fact, this truly was Ms. Dodona's first day back. Within minutes of her return, it felt as though she never missed a day with her students. This does not happen by circumstance. It happens because Ms. Dodona has established wonderfully loving relationships with her students, and they were delighted to have their teacher back. And we are delighted to have Margaret in Yorktown. It's my pleasure to recommend Ms. Dodona for tenure in the Yorktown Central School District.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
The next candidate that I will be recommending for tenure this evening is Ms. Pam DeLuca. Ms. DeLuca is a teacher of English to speakers of other languages at Brookside School. As an ENL teacher, Ms. DeLuca works with students throughout the school, supporting them in their English language acquisition. This is a special role in any school, and Ms. DeLuca fills it to the highest level of skill and commitment. The care and sensitivity with which Ms. DeLuca performs her role is most inspiring. She supports her students, she advocates for her students, and she helps her students to advocate for themselves. She gives voice to students who sometimes may not have a voice. In my visit to Ms. DeLuca's class, I noted a teacher who has amazing rapport with her students, a teacher who has enormous patience and demonstrates a profound respect for allowing students to share their ideas. For these reasons, and so many other reasons, it's my honor to recommend Ms. DeLuca for tenure as an ENL teacher in the Yorktown School District. Congratulations. I have a surprise. I have a surprise.
Lori was already saying, I'm going to
At this time, it's my pleasure to recommend Ms. Carol McLear for tenure as an elementary school teacher in the Yorktown Central School District. Ms. McLear is a gifted educator who demonstrates so many attributes that we seek in a tenure candidate. She demonstrates a strong balance between content area expertise and pedagogical strategy to ensure students are meeting her high behavioral and academic expectations. In addition, while Ms. McLear has already demonstrated herself to be an outstanding educator, she too demonstrates a very high capacity for continued growth. Aside from the superb instruction that she provides to her students, the classroom decor in Ms. McAlear's room is amongst the most innovative I have seen. And what I'm going to do is actually, I have a picture of it that I want to share with the entire audience, because if I learned in this classroom, I think I would have had a lot more fun. So she has fully embraced the flexible seating movement, and her classroom provides students a relaxed and comfortable atmosphere to learn. The bright and vibrant colors, coupled with the Adirondack chairs and flexible spaces, brighten even the most cloudy days. I'm delighted to recommend Ms. McAleer for tenure as an elementary school teacher in the Yorktown Central School District.
Been here a long time.
I love her class. Thank you. He was great. He was so great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Amerling, for joining me at the podium. At this time, we will introduce the tenure candidates from Crampon School. I'd like to invite Dr. Roberts, Crampon School Principal, to join me, and also is Mr. Rosen in the audience? Mr. Rosen, Director of PPS, will also join us. Before we discuss our tenure candidates, I just would like Dr. Roberts to share a very important announcement. The announcement has been public, but I'm not sure how many of you have seen the announcement. It's wonderful news for our district. It's wonderful news for Crampon School, and I'd like Dr. Roberts to share it with you.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. In our February Board of Education meeting, Mr. Avdek and I announced that Crampon Elementary School was named a New York State School of Character. At that point, we also mentioned that our application was recommended for National School Review. We found out on Friday that Crampon Elementary School was named a National School of Character, so we're very proud of that.
That is remarkable. Dr. Roberts, thank you so much for your leadership, and to your faculty, thank you for their dedication. There is so much that goes into the application and so much that goes into the process, and so many community stakeholders who need to speak on behalf of the good work that's happening in the building, that it's no easy lift just simply from a logistic and organizational standpoint, and then to actually do the work that goes into earning that designation is nothing short of remarkable. So my highest commendation to Dr. Roberts, Mr. Avdek, and the Crampon staff. Before our first tenure candidate from Crampon School is Ms. Janine Griffin. Ms. Griffin is a certified teaching assistant at Crampon School who currently works in our integrated co-teaching program at the 4th grade level. Ms. Griffin has demonstrated herself to be a positive, optimistic, and energetic professional who continuously places students at the forefront of her work. Ms. Griffin continuously seeks opportunities to enhance her practice and regularly commits herself to professional development coursework and workshops. Dr. Roberts, Crampon School's principal, states, Ms. Griffin has been a vital part of our school community. She has demonstrated professionalism, a devotion to learning, and most importantly, a commitment to our students. For these reasons, I am pleased to recommend Ms. Janine Griffin for tenure as a certified teaching assistant in the Yorktown Central School District. He's so cute. Our next candidate from Crampon School is Ms. Teresa DeAngenis. Ms. DeAngenis is a special education teacher in our 812 class at Crampon School, and her teaching is also amongst the best I have seen in the classroom. There are so many superlatives that can describe Ms. DeAngenis, but I'm not quite sure where to begin. First and foremost, Ms. DeAngelis is as child-centered of an educator as you will ever meet, and she's fully invested in the success of her students. Ms. DeAngelis goes so far beyond the differentiation of instruction because she personalizes instruction. The students in Ms. DeAngelis' classroom receive an educational program that is individually customized and specialized to meet their needs, where they are, and advance learning. Students are given a wealth of resources and opportunities to make gains with Ms. DeAngelis that are unparalleled. Our entire team is in awe of the work that Ms. DeAngelis puts forward and the outcomes that her students attain. Of Ms. DeAngelis' work, Dr. Roberts perfectly captures the classroom experience by stating, Ms. DeAngelis has created a warm, nurturing, risk-taking environment for students. She is well aware of the interests of each child and how they learn best. When you enter the classroom, students are engaged in learning, welcome you with a happy heart, and all students have a genuine love for all staff members in the classroom. I'm so honored to recommend Ms. Teresa DeAngelis for tenure as a special education teacher in the Yorktown schools. Thank you, Dr. Roberts. At this time, we'll introduce the tenure candidates from Mildred E. Strang Middle School. I'd like to invite Mrs. Horowitz to the podium. I'd like to ask Mr. Rosen to remain here with me at the podium. Thank you, Marie. Dr. Tricia Klauser is a sole tenure candidate from Mildred E. Strang Middle School. Dr. Klauser has been an invaluable addition to the clinical team of Mildred E. Strang Middle School. Serving in the capacity of a school psychologist, Dr. Klauser has truly made a very broad, positive impact on our district during her time in the middle school. She has forged wonderful relationships with her colleagues as well as with our students and their families. She has gained the respect of the entire administration, and she has accomplished this using a very simple approach. She demonstrates expertise in her field, uses a broad repertoire to share her expertise, and she loves children. That earns my respect every day of the week. Dr. Klauser is profoundly committed to the students with whom she works, but her impact on the Mildred E. Strang Middle School learning community far surpasses the role described in her job title. She cultivates relationships with all constituencies in our middle school. She's a person that the administration and faculty feel comfortable going to for support, assistance, and even advice. She provides honest feedback with a discerning and thoughtful perspective. What's more, Dr. Klauser's situational awareness, complemented by a decision-making confidence, creates a school psychologist profile that is matched by few. We are fortunate to have Dr. Klauser in the Yorktown Central School District, and I'm honored to recommend her for tenure this evening. Thank you, Mrs. Horowitz. At this time, I'd like to introduce the candidates for tenure from Yorktown High School, and I invite Mr. DeGennaro, Yorktown High School principal, to join me at the podium, as well as Mr. Rosen. I am pleased to recommend Ms. Mia Piconich for tenure as a special education teacher this evening. During her time in the district, Ms. Piconich has taught classes from both the special education department as well as the mathematics department. Ms. Piconich is a student-centered educator who goes to great lengths to ensure her students are achieving their greatest potential. In a recent visit to her classroom, I noted the excellent rapport and relationships that Ms. Piconich has cultivated with her students. As an observer in the class, I immediately realized what all of the students appeared to know, that Mrs. Piconich was authentically invested in their success as students and as people. Mr. DeGennaro states of Ms. Piconich, "I have always found her classroom to be engaging, rigorous, and utilizing multiple teaching strategies while demonstrating a kind, compassionate rapport with her students. Ms. Piconich creates dynamic lesson plans that are detailed and utilizes every second of instructional time," end quote. Ms. Piconich continuously seeks to improve her practice through coursework, workshops, conferences, you name it. She's a reflective practitioner who welcomes the feedback and perspective of her administrative colleagues. She is an excellent teacher today, and more impressively, she has high potential for continued growth. I'm honored to recommend Ms. Piconich for tenure as a special education teacher this evening. Thank you, Mr. DeGennaro. At this time, we are going to recognize a tenure candidate in the Pupil Personnel Department. Mr. Rosen is here. I'd like to also ask Carolyn Almeida, Assistant Director of PPS, to join me at the podium. Ms. Sabrina Casey is a school psychologist working out of our PPS office, Pupil Personnel Services office. There have been so many things that have struck me about Ms. Casey throughout the course of this school year. First and foremost is her kind and empathetic approach to being a school psychologist. I sat in on a meeting that Ms. Casey was having regarding a preschool student who was transitioning to kindergarten, which you remember that meeting. The child's parent attended the meeting with several staff members, and the care and sensitivity of that conversation cannot easily be replicated. Ms. Casey worked so skillfully with those who attended the meeting to ensure the child was advocated for and supported throughout the entire transition process to kindergarten. I applaud Ms. Casey for all she does for the students with whom she works. I am so pleased to recommend her for tenure this evening in the Yorktown Central School District. At this time, I ask that you give all of our tenure candidates just one more round of applause. So it's not official yet. It's not official yet. Our board has to vote on my recommendation for tenure. It's not official until the board votes on it. Before I do that, I just want to speak to you about the impact of a teacher. The impact of a teacher is so far beyond what anyone can ever see. And when I say teacher, I'm talking about the CTAs, the psychologists in the room. I just want to share a letter that was shared with me a few years back. And it wasn't written to me, nor did I author the letter. It was about a student who took a Spanish class, who had graduated and decided to write her teacher subsequently. It reads, "Dear Senora Ober, On the first day of Spanish class, you read us a paragraph in a language that we knew nothing about, and I didn't understand a word of it. From the panicked faces I saw around the room, none of my classmates did either. You promised us that on the last day of class, when you reread it, we would understand. I rolled my eyes, knowing that there was no way I would be able to comprehend something so foreign by June. I gave you 180 days to prove me wrong, but remained content in knowing that you wouldn't be able to do it. I was having such a good time learning that by June I barely realized that the 180th day had arrived. I had done well throughout the year, and I felt that I had learned a reasonable amount of new information, as well as developing a wonderful taste for Spanish lollipops. But that certainly didn't mean that I understood Spanish. You still had to prove me wrong, as you'd promised so many months ago. I walked into your class for the last time ever, skeptical, and listened as you reread the passage from the first day of school. My jaw dropped in amazement when, as promised, I understood every word. All of those episodes of music cartoons and silly mnemonic devices that actually came together to form something surprisingly intelligible. I looked around at the rest of the class. The stunned faces that surrounded me proved that everyone else had also understood. The feeling of pride and accomplishment that came over me was incredible, and it is something that I will never forget. Looking back as an adult, I can see that you gave me the confidence I needed for success in learning all levels of Spanish. You were genuinely the best teacher I've ever had. It can't be easy to teach a room full of novices a completely new language, yet you were able to do it in a way that remains fresh in my mind nearly a decade later. I owe much of my success in Spanish to you and the confidence that you gave me throughout my freshman year. Remembering the remarkable feeling of accomplishment I had on the last day of your class is something that motivates me to continue learning Spanish. I have the utmost respect for good language teachers, and you are truly a great one. Thank you, Senora Ober, for helping me to gain confidence that could only have come from the ability to understand. I hope you enjoyed proving me wrong. Now, at this time, I believe the board is prepared to vote on my recommendation, and I will take my seat at the dais.
Can I have a motion to approve the superintendent's tenure recommendations?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, everyone.
So I assure everyone we have a scintillating meeting remaining for everyone who's interested in saying, but I do see some young children here and I see staff who need to be at work by 7:19 tomorrow morning. So what we're going to do is just take a very brief recess, allow you to make your way to the exit. There are refreshments in the back as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations.
Ron, that was a wonderful night. Thank you so much. We're up to public comment. Anybody wishing to speak on agenda-related items? No. So we're going to go right to the superintendent's report.
Not sure how to quite follow up tenure night, but there's just so many wonderful things happening. I just want to call attention, honestly, to one item, and we have, as you all know, Patrice Hattie-George, our longtime Director of Technology, will be retiring at the end of this school year. We commenced a exhaustive and comprehensive search, and we're so pleased to be announcing this evening, I'll be recommending to the board that we appoint Ms. Jennifer Forsberg as our new Director of Technology. Jennifer comes to us with many years of experience, both in the Ossining School District and most recently and currently in the Bronxville School District in southern Westchester County. We're honored to have her on board. We welcome her with open arms. And we're excited to continue on the great work that Patrice has really forged in our school district. With regard to just some upcoming events in our district, there are so many wonderful concerts and so many wonderful award ceremonies and celebrations that will be taking hold in our school district. I encourage you to go onto the district website, take a look at our calendar, and try to get involved and be as part of the school community as you'd like to be and that you wish to be. There are so many wonderful opportunities, whether it's athletics, whether it's the arts. Please do come out and experience the school district.
That's it? Okay, thank you. We have to do our public hearing for the budget. So can I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have the presentation of the 1920 budget. Who's up for that?
Well, I'll do it if you don't mind. Thank you, Dr. Hatter. Ladies and gentlemen, the budget presentation is in a three-part form, the component budget parts. The total budget that will be on the ballot for voters is $98,175,000, and it's comprised of the following components. The instruction or program component is $77,048,181. The administrative component is $9,988,085, and the capital component is $11,138,734. The budget for 2019-2020 represents a $245,000 increase over the prior year, or the equivalent of 0.25%. That's that.
Does anybody have any questions?
No.
Tom, what is the effective tax rate?
In Yorktown, it is plus 0.67. In Newcastle, it is minus 0.85%. And in Cortland, it is plus 2.42%.
Terrific. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
The propositions, as they will appear on the ballot, will be as follows. Proposition 1 will say, shall the annual school district budget for the fiscal year 2019-2020 in the amount of $98,175,000 and the requisite portion thereof to be raised by taxation on taxable property of the district be approved. Proposition number 2 is our capital project proposition. Shall the Board of Education of the Yorktown Central School District, Westchester County, New York, be authorized to construct improvements to the district's buildings and facilities, including but not limited to district-wide air conditioning for large learning spaces and related electrical upgrades, district-wide e-steam facility upgrades, district-wide security upgrades, Yorktown High School guidance suite renovations and auditorium upgrades, and related site and other work required in connection therewith at a maximum estimated cost of $4 million, and the amount of $4 million shall be transferred from the Buildings and Facilities Improvement Capital Reserve Fund to the Capital Fund for such purpose, provided that the costs of the components of the project may be reallocated if the Board of Education shall determine that such reallocation is in the best interest of the district. We also have our 3 candidates running for the Board of Education. There are 3 seats open. Reshmi Bose, Cheryl Reynolds, and Lisa Roll are the candidates. There were no other candidates. And that is how the ballot will look. We have a public comment. Is there anybody wishing to ask questions or comments on the public hearing? Nope. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. We're going to do board action items. Can I have a motion to approve the Board of Education meeting calendar for the 1920 school year?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have personnel. I'd like to bring one up to the top before we do the others. Can I have a motion to appoint Jennifer Forsberg as the Director of Technology?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ron, do you want to say anything?
Jennifer is here in the audience for the public watching this at home. You're not going to be able to see that, but Jennifer has joined us this evening, and she's sitting alongside Patrice Hattie-George, our current Director of Technology. And I will tell you that in the circles that Lisa and I travel in, Jennifer and Patrice are regarded as the 2 most outstanding directors of technology in Westchester. So we're so fortunate to have Patrice and the foundation that she's built upon, and we're so fortunate to have Jennifer following Patrice. I'm looking forward to all the good work that we're going to do together. It's a wonderful district, it's a wonderful place, and we're going to make amazing things happen for our children. So welcome aboard.
Welcome. We know you have big shoes to fill with Patrice, but she assures us that you can fill them. So welcome aboard. All right. I'm going to continue with the rest of the personnel. We have certified personnel. We have an appointment. We have tenure appointments that we already did. We have part-time and temporary appointments, regular substitutes, change in appointment. Under other compensation, we have extra duty. We have a coach appointment, volunteer. We have a couple of corrections and a removal from the substitute list. We have 2 resignations. I'll let Ron address one of them. And under classified personnel, we have police officer monitors. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Do you want to speak to?
I do. I very reluctantly accepted the resignation of our athletic trainer, Dave Burns. For the last 15 years, Dave has been a staple on the sidelines, helping our students, ensuring that they're well enough to return to the playing field or to the athletic courts. He has been such a remarkable asset to the athletic department. Mr. Barrett is here this evening, and Mr. Barrett can certainly attest to the integral role that Mr. Burns has played. Mr. Burns had an opportunity in the private sector that was good for his family. We really respect that. We wish him well. He's been such a wonderful, wonderful colleague and wonderful, wonderful mentor to our students. So we wish him and his family well in the next chapter of his life.
Okay, well said. All right, we're up to policies. A motion to approve the first reading and adoption of the following policy. It's 1900, family involvement and family engagement. And a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of 6830, expense reimbursement.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have two deletions. Be it resolved that the following regulations be deleted from the policy manual because they are now combined with the policy. 1900R, family involvement and family engagement, and 5151R, homeless children regulation.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We have a first read, a motion to conduct the first read on the following regulation, 6830R, the expense reimbursement regulation. Anybody have any questions on it? I didn't say it was a motion. I said we're going to conduct the first read. Okay, business. She's going to fix my computer, too. Surplus. Resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent, the Board of Education declares as surplus and recommends the disposal or sale of the following science books listed below.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Be it budget transfers, a motion to approve the following budget transfers listed below.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? French Hill leases, a motion to approve the attached amendments to the following rental contracts for the space at French Hill. We have all of our renters down there.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? TSR Reserve Fund. Whereas the Yorktown Central School District participates in the New York State Teachers Retirement System, and whereas the Board of Education, by resolution, established a reserve fund known as a Retirement Contribution Reserve Fund to refinance retirement contributions to the New York State Local and Employment Retirement System pursuant to Section 6R of the General Municipal Law, and where the Board of Education has determined that it is also appropriate to establish a sub-fund within said Retirement Contribution Reserve Fund to finance retirement contributions to the New York State Teachers Retirement System pursuant to the newly enacted provisions of Section 6R of the Municipal Law. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Education of the Yorktown Central School District, pursuant to Section 6R of the General Municipal Law, hereby establishes a sub-fund within the Retirement Contribution Reserve Fund to be known as the Yorktown Central School District Retirement Contribution Reserve Sub-Fund to finance retirement contributions to the New York State Teachers Retirement System and/or offset all or a portion of the amount deducted from the monies apportioned to the district from the state for the support of the schools pursuant to Section 521 of Education Law.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion, Tom?
This is the long-awaited establishment of a reserve fund for the teachers' retirement system pension costs. We have one existing already, the employee retirement system costs. This is going to help us be able to put money aside to be able to mitigate increases in the contribution rate that employers have to make on an annual basis should it start to spike. And periodically, it works in relationship to the health of the financial markets. So over a period of time, if the markets don't do well, the rates tend to spike, and
just went up.
that's where this money will come in to help mitigate the tax rate impact.
Terrific. It has been long overdue. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The Hudson River Sloop. Resolved that the Board of Education approve the contract with the Hudson River Sloop Clearwater, Inc. pursuant to the terms in the attached contract, which has been reviewed and approved by the school district's attorney, and authorizes the board president to execute such contract.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Curriculum. Lead evaluators. Be it resolved that pursuant to the requirements of Education Law 3012D and Part 32.9 of the Regents' Rules, the following persons have completed all the required training to be recertified by this Board of Education as lead evaluators of classroom teachers for the 18-19 school year.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Placements. A motion to approve the following placements as of May 13, 2019.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Gifts, grants, and donations. A motion to accept with gratitude the following gifts, grants, and donations. At Yorktown High School, $8 from Your Cause LLC, trustee, New York Life Employee Match Program. And at Mohansick, $1,530.54 for the New York Life Matching Employee Grant Program to be used for supplies at Mohansick School. $4,605 from the Mohansick PTA for cultural enrichment programs for the Mohansick students, Story Pirates Around the World Butterfly Programs, and an assembly with author Stephen Swinburne.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We're up to board comment. Lisa?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that the award that Crampon got is really an amazing award. And during the little break that we took after the tenure process, I went over to Dr. Roberts to congratulate her, and she thanked Cheryl and I for the work that the board did. But I really think that that's reversed, right? The board really doesn't do it. It's Dr. Hatter and his team and the Crampon team and really all of the staff that does it, that causes that type of award to be given to Crampon. So as much as it was very nice as Dr. Roberts to thank us, it's really not us, and I want that to be acknowledged, that it's the Yorktown community that causes that kind of award to be given to Crampon, not us. So congratulations, all of you.
I'll piggyback a little bit off of that. In addition to the community, it's really our staff who, along with our students and our parents, who put their best foot forward and make us able to receive some of these awards. So I'm just going to say congratulations to our tenured teachers tonight. They are what make us so wonderful. Their passion for education and their dedication to our students. And I'm proud to see all of this staff tonight receive tenure. So thank you to them.
Rashmi?
Yeah, I just wanted to say congratulations to everyone that received tenure tonight. Also welcome Jennifer to our district. We look forward to great things. As Patrice will tell you, we have great plans. So we look forward to working with you. We will miss Dave Burns and also wish him the very best.
Yeah, I can't add much to that. Wonderful news tonight all around with the tenure recommendations on acceptance, as well as the School of Character. I was trying to think, National School of Character is the word I was looking for. With Crampon, and Jennifer is going to be a great addition to our team. Obviously, we're going to miss Patrice, but we've told her that a lot already. Yeah, thank you to David Burns for all he's done over the years for all of our athletes. He'll be missed.
Yeah, the same, Lori does thank everybody always for everything. She doesn't take a lot of the glory, but she has done a phenomenal job in that building. It comes from district leadership, so you guys have done a great job, and you've allowed her the freedom to put in this application, which is wonderful. Now we have two schools that are national districts, national schools of character. We're a national district of character. We're getting there. We've got a few more to go. But I am so proud because character is the basis of everything, and it allows us to do the teaching that we do. It allows you the freedom to do what you do and to put e-STEAM in and everything because we have the basis of the good character. So I'm so proud of that. Our teachers are amazing. The tenure nights get nicer and nicer, so thank you very much. It was very cute. Yeah, Dave will be missed. He's been inspirational to a lot of kids. I wish him well. I know that, it's hard to raise a young family, so I'm happy that it's working for him. Hopefully he'll come back at some point and see our kids. No, not to work, but to see our kids. The kids love him,
I'm sure he'll be.
I know he will be. And that's it. Come out and see our great stuff that's going on. Ron, Lisa, Tom, anything?
Just want to say to Dr. Hatter, it was wonderful how you highlighted the teachers and the professionals up for tenure. I know how hard it is to capture all that they are in a few sentences each, and they really are exceptional educators, and Yorktown is blessed for all the contributions that they make, and they'll help us to continue our work in everything that we do, all centered around empathy. So you did a wonderful job trying to capture their wealth of positive attributes in a short amount of time. We're very lucky here, and Jennifer, you'll see that it's such a wonderful place to work. And no matter what Lisa said, it does have to do with the direction of the board, setting our direction and our goals, and centering on the whole child. So,
That's all I was going to say, is the board here is outstanding. They're phenomenal. So they can deflect a lot of the credit, but honestly, it starts with the board and it starts with the team that we have here, and it trickles through and it permeates every part of the organization. Lisa, thank you so much, and all the role that you've had in supporting and nurturing all of our tenure candidates. I noticed how they quickly made their way from me, and they ran right over to you to give you a hug and say thank you for your support. But thank you so much. What a wonderful night to celebrate our tenure candidates on June 3rd, the board meeting on June 3rd. It's School Partner Recognition Night, so we'll be celebrating all of the community groups that make our school district the special place that it is. And on June 17th, it's a retiree and anniversary celebrant evening. We'll be honoring those who are celebrating a milestone anniversary and those retiring from the district. So just two wonderful meetings in store for us.
Okay. And just one more reminder, we have the budget vote is May 21st, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at Mohansick. Please come out and vote. It is very important. We appreciate your support. We're up to public comment. Anybody wishing to speak? Nope. Can I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I oppose. Good night, everybody. Thank
Night.
you.
No, thank you.